Hey, how's it going out there, everyone? Welcome back here to a Tuesday, about 11:21 a.m. California time here, December 3rd, 2024. Still waiting on that alien invasion that was supposed to happen here today. No sign of it yet. Latest activity shows it looks like a 5.7 here across the Philippines area. Somewhat larger movement here in the last hour or so. It's going to be this earthquake right here on the USGS map. Looks like about 43 miles deep for this earthquake here. Well away from the Manila region down here south, the capital area. But a little bit of shaking going on out there. We'll get to the earthquake activity here in just a little bit. I want to cover this little asteroid they predicted would hit the Earth. Now, it wasn't a huge asteroid, but it did give us a few hours warning of the impact that was expected here and did take place. This is from an asteroid about 27 inches wide and was detected there by the astronomers with the Kitt Peak National Observatory near Tucson, Arizona. So it looks like that small rock did impact the planet. The name of this asteroid, temporary designation here, was COWEPC5. Now, that was the fourth imminent impactor discovered in 2024, and they're doing a pretty decent job here of detecting these little ones. There's a video there on X of that said impact. Not a big deal. 27-inch space rock coming in there. It looks like from the Russia area is where that video is coming from of that impact. Well, it didn't really, I don't think it reached the surface here, but it did burn up nicely into a little fireball in the atmosphere over Russia. And again, that was on COWEPC5, that little asteroid there. Pretty neat. Seems to be happening quite a bit here, but at least there's no big ones right now. Let's give a quick glance here at the asteroid approaches coming up. We'll just double check that, see. I don't want to jinx it, say there's nothing coming and we got a big one coming this way. Right now, everything looks fairly safe in terms of distance-wise. There's a 42-foot bus-sized asteroid. Now, that would probably do a little bit more spectacular re-entry there compared to that 27-inch asteroid that hit over the skies of Russia today. But still, that's fairly safe, 207,000 miles away. Some of these other ones, though, we don't even want to touch. We don't want those getting anywhere near us because that would definitely make it through the atmosphere and impact the ground. 1,300-foot size stadium-size asteroid would do a lot more damage. Right now, everything looks fairly safe in respect to that. So earthquake activity here in the last 24 hours. I believe that 5.7 is going to be the largest one so far in the last 24 hours here. Prior to that, little 4.4 in the Fiji region, some deeper activity down here. So things are starting to kick up here a little bit following a few days of quietness in terms of earthquake activity. California down here is starting to show some movement as well. Another above the 2.5 threshold earthquake, a 2.8 coming in near the Octillo Wells area along the San Jacinto fault zone. Yesterday we had some activity in the Southern California area up along the coastal fault here near Santa Clarita. There's a couple different thrust faults that push up against the plate boundary here. And X marks the spot here across the interchange of the plate boundary, the San Andreas fault, and the Garlock fault shear zone, and a different named fault here that runs to the west. It's a very hazardous area, and there's one earthquake that popped right on it yesterday, a little 1.7. So any day, any time, I mean, it could be, who knows when the big one may hit out here, but earthquake activity has been on the increasing level here in the last 24 hours, I would say, with the magnitudes out here getting slightly larger. Around Los Angeles, little 1.5 outside the Highland Park area this morning. Nothing big across this area for now. Most of the activity along the San Jacinto fault zone and up north here around that interchange. Not a whole lot going on across the Salton Sea area. One little earthquake there from last night, little 1.3, but that was about it. Nothing big going on there for now. The Bay Area up north, a little bit more active as well. Looks like some movement along the Calaveras fault system, 1.4, and a couple other ones out there around the Pleasant Hill, Morgan Hill area. And of course, our typical hydrothermal plants out there around the Clear Lake volcanic field producing some earthquakes. Extreme northern California, pretty quiet outside the Reno area, getting some small microquake activity out there, but really nothing big going on there for now. Washington area, a couple smaller quakes around Mount St. Helens. Most of that there from yesterday. A couple other earthquakes around Mount Rainier as well, but really nothing spectacular going on. Nothing of newsworthy value. Yellowstone National Park, looks like around the Hebgen Lake area. A couple smaller quakes kicking up there, but let's go see what we got across the Yellowstone area. And yeah, those quakes just barely showing up. Looks like there's a couple right here. 1, 2 very small earthquakes. You know, the USGS showing those earthquakes as a 0.4 and a 0.6. So these are, you know, well below the 1 magnitude level. And it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of other earthquake activity out here. Maybe one around Mary Lake, but that's about it. Super duper quiet across that super volcano. And that's a good thing. We want it quiet. Don't want to wake up the sleeping giant. Oil fields out here in Texas getting hit pretty nicely as well. A little bit from today, a little bit from yesterday as well. New Madrid seismic zone pretty quiet. Outside the Summerville, South Carolina region, this is getting close to the epicenter of some historical large earthquakes. In fact, right in that zone. Seen some large earthquake activity there back in, I can't remember the exact date, but something like we haven't seen here in historical times. A large earthquake today would definitely be quite damaging out there around this area. But these little quakes, similar to the New Madrid seismic zone, just let us know that the fault systems out here that have produced large earthquakes in the past are still very much alive. Looks like there was a little 1.0 in the last 30 days. The latest, though, today is 1.6 in that, right there in that hazard zone just outside the Charleston area. Further out, let's see, Puerto Rico region starting to kick back up here with swarming once again. There was a 4.7 up here early this morning, right around the Puerto Rico Trench. A little bit here, a little bit there. If we look at the last 7 days, though, it's been quite a bit of here and there, all over the place across the Puerto Rico Trench. I'm sure some more over here as well. But the USGS just focuses in on these smaller quakes around the U.S. territories and the states. As far as the international community goes, they don't really report on that. But there's definitely quite a bit of uptick going on there across the Puerto Rico Trench here. We'll have to watch that. 4.7, the latest, somewhat of a moderate quake there in that area. And I'm pretty certain, though, that's got to do, if you remember yesterday, we had quite a bit of movement down here across the Middle America Trench. A lot of older activity here on the globe now. That's putting a strain out here along the Caribbean plate. That area gets squeezed and pushed around by a couple big plates from the north to the south, and then, of course, that subduction zone that sits here along the Middle America Trench. Squeeze in that area. I think that's why we're seeing the elevated seismic activity here today following yesterday's events. Now, if you look on the globe here, there is some activity stirring up south of California along the Baja California region with a little swarming going on. Got, looks like a 4-pointer and a couple other 3s in there as well, just south of the border. USGS, of course, their reporting here cuts off here at the border. So, you know, sometimes they'll show some 3s down here, but most of the time that's a cutoff zone for U.S. territory, obviously, and their reporting system. But it's pretty important to watch what's going on here along this plate boundary, because many times, more often than not, what goes on down here increases the level of activity here across Southern California. So don't ignore the 4-pointer and a bunch of 3s that are stirring up right about here. Okay, I think that's why we're seeing somewhat elevated seismic activity out here today and last night. So keep an eye there on Southern California with that movement. Looks like up north as well, across the northern end of the Cascadia subduction zone, 3.4 coming in there. Nothing being reported from the USGS. So that's probably from the EMSC. We'll check out the Earthquakes Canada map. Good thing we have lots of different agencies to go to, right? Because don't really want to rely on one agency that may not be all that reliable. There's that earthquake showing up there in the purple circle, 3.4. That is on the just shy of the Cascadia. Cascadia is going to be right here where the hand is, the subduction zone. It ends right about here. So you got the Juan de Fuca plate as a whole, right? But technically, there's three plates here. We got the Gorda plate down south, the Explorer plate, or the Juan de Fuca plate as the bigger of the three, and then the Explorer plate up north, smaller. And it looks like that's occurring. That little 3.4 occurred on the Explorer and the Pacific plate boundary. Pacific plate here to the west. So just a little bit of movement stirring up there today. Some movement up in Alaska in the 3 range, it looks like. There's a 4.9 here across the Kuril-Kamchatka northern end. USGS is reporting that from 9 o'clock this morning, 39 miles deep here into that subduction zone. I think we had a little bit more activity here across Japan. If I recall, looks like a couple of 3s out there across the western area of Japan. 5.7 there in the Philippines. Some movement down south here as well with a decent 5-pointer. That is being reported here by the USGS as well. So quite a bit of uptick going on here across the area, once again, of the western regions of the Pacific Plate and the western area of the Filipino Plate here. It's going to be this diamond shape. Oh, I don't know if it's a diamond shape, but yeah, a little bit of movement. Got some deeper activity once again on the Mariana Trench here. So things look like they're set into motion for some larger scale activity. Notice this deep region back here across the Java Trench, Sumatra area. Those deeper quakes there, a good indicator, maybe some strain going on across that subduction zone of the Java Trench right here. And of course, we're all waiting. I mean, where it should say anticipating here an 8-pointer somewhere out here on this planet very soon. And I say that because, you know, I've been studying earthquakes quite a while. We go by regular intervals of large quakes, whether it's 7s. We're supposed to have this number of 7s per year, this number of 8s, you know, and 9-pointers, of course. The big ones happen, thankfully, not quite as often as the 7s and 6s do. So the 8-pointers, we should see an 8-pointer once a year. If not once a year, once every other year. And it's been since 2021. So here we are, the last month of 2024, and no 8-pointer yet. The question is, where is it going to be? You know, and the Java Trench is just one of the areas that can easily see an 8-pointer. Anywhere out here across the Indonesia Islands area, up through the Philippines, Taiwan, Japan, you name it. This whole area is just the crunch zone, and they can see some big earthquakes out here. So we'll watch it. Again, it could be anywhere out here on the globe where that 8-pointer may strike, including Southern California. 4.0 out there around the Turkey area. A bunch of other 2s in there as well. Really nothing big going on there across the Mediterranean today. Minimal movement across the Atlantic. Let's see. A lot of deep activity across this entire region here, folks. New Zealand, pretty quiet. Older, deep activity there across the Tonga region. Let's see. Hawaii. Let's go check out Hawaii, see what's going on out there in the beautiful big island of Hawaii out in the Pacific. Quite a bit of activity stirring up out here. A lot of this from yesterday, quite a bit here from today as well. Noticing an increasing pattern here offshore. The majority of these quakes, though, fairly deep as expected, but there is a pattern definitely leading off in that fashion there. So let's go check out the Kilauea Volcano latest information map here. and see what we have. The volcano update put out just about a week ago still shows yellow and advisory. The USGS here only puts out notifications every day if there's something major going on out here, but right now there's not a whole lot of major activity there across Kilauea Volcano. Somewhat of an uptick there last night, seeing some of those 2s and 3s showing up quite nicely. Since then, it looks like the activity has died off. The overall pattern out there across the Kilauea Volcano is a little bit of inflation, deflation, very common out there across that Kilauea Volcano area. It looks like their yearly and the past 5-year chart is offline. But at least we still have some data to work with here. Here's the past month here of the electronic tilt of the Kilauea Summit and East Rift Zone. Gradually going up. So we'll continue to watch that. I don't think we're looking at any type of eruption in the near term, but of course things can change in a blink of an eye out here. Let's see. I think that's about it for earthquake activity. I know we got volcanoes popping there in the Philippines. Those volcanoes, though, they always, Indonesia Islands area up through the Philippines, always seeing volcanic activity. That is nothing new. I could sit out here daily and talk about volcanoes, but there's nothing new on that. These volcanoes pop a lot. Nothing going on across the Cascades for now. What's that? Another new earth? Is that an old one or a new one? That's that same earthquake there, 2.7. All right, so let's check out space weather activity. We looked at that little asteroid, 27 inches. Crazy to think that that's just over 2 feet. But it burned up pretty nicely. Made a nice fireball. There might be a couple pebbles that made it down to the ground. I don't know if I'd want to be out there looking, though, in the dead of winter for a couple rocks. Well, actually, that's probably the best time, right? If you got a lot of snow out there, you'll be able to see where those pebbles may have landed, went through the snow, so to speak. But I'm good on that. Space weather activity, fairly minimal. Got some sea flare activity, but that's about it. That's what you see right here on the solar flux chart. Nothing big, nothing of any abnormal solar flaring going on. Really not a whole lot of direct sunspots of any favorable strong solar flares. Looks like there may be an active region out there on the far eastern limb of the sun. We'll have to wait for that to get a little bit further into the Earth-directed view to see what we may be facing here in terms of any flaring. Right now, it's fairly minimal, 5% chance for X flare. That's being very generous there. I don't see any sign of an X flare out there or any sunspots that's capable of that. M flare as well, 30% chance. C flare, 99% chance there. No major auroras in the forecast there, and there might be a little sliver of a moon up there if you can spot it. Yeah, no major auroras. All right, so Storm Prediction Center, no major severe weather either. Pretty quiet out there across the board. Got some more snow coming into the Great Lakes area and the states in the northeast. Quite a bit more snow coming your way from that massive low pressure system there. We put this into motion here as we look at next weekend. Things start to mix up a little bit with some more snow out here across the extreme northeast. A little weak system coming into the northwest. Got some more rain coming into Texas and portions of the south. They're going to get a nice drenching there. Some cold air behind that, looks like. It's going to be a series of events down there across the Gulf Coast states with rampant moisture coming in. I wish we had some of that. Going to have to watch this. It looks like maybe, fingers crossed, I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like we may return to some wet weather out here across the West Coast. Middle December forward. I hope. We need some rain. I know a lot of people would love to be here at 65 degrees out, sunny, beautiful. Don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful day, but it's winter time. When it's winter, it's supposed to be raining. This is our rainy season. No rain means drought conditions. Right now, we're still fairly sufficient in terms of moisture across the land here in Northern California because, well, we picked up 7 inches from our last event. We had like 2 days of just steady rain. Picked up 7 inches here outside of my neck of the, or outside here of Chico, Northern California. So that pretty much took us out of the drought, but it looks like we're starting to come back in a little bit there at the surface levels. A little bit deeper due to all that heavy rainfall is fine for now. Moisture anomaly. Green for now on the deeper levels. Starting to dry up there though at the surface levels again. So we need some more rain. We're starting to dry up out here. Rest of the country. These areas that are expecting a whole bunch of tropical moisture here coming up the next couple weeks. It looks like it's going to be right there in that region. Going to be slammed with quite a bit of rainfall coming up here across that area. Isn't that weird how, Mother Nature knows how to take care of things out there? This whole area across Kansas and Oklahoma was heavily drought a month or so back, and they had a whole bunch of weather pop through this area and got them out of the drought, but also some severe weather was associated with that rainfall. Hopefully severe weather will be limited, but there is a lot of moisture coming to this drought-stricken area in the near future. So get ready. Oregon and Washington, even these guys up there are kind of dry right now. They've had a lot of rain, but, this is our rainy season. We're supposed to have, almost storm after storm coming in here. To have it 65 degrees, sunny, and, yuck. Beautiful, right? But it's winter. Bring me the rainfall. I want the wind. I love it. I got a whole backyard filled of wind chimes, and none of them are going off. They're just sitting there like it's summertime. All right, little 1.5 Apple Valley. This area of Apple Valley, southern portion here. Surface quake coming in across this area. On the North American side here of the plate boundary. We'll continue to watch it, folks. Like I said, there's been some elevated activity south here in the Baja California with, some increasing movement there across Southern California as well. So we'll be on guard and just keep our mind in the right place. No alien invasion going on. It's still early. I guess this was some type of web bot prediction that took place back in the 90s. Stating that there's supposed to be an alien invasion here today, somewhere on the planet. So aside from that little asteroid and some other social media videos of orbs, well, maybe not orbs, but I think they're drones or something, spotted in the skies across the globe. I don't think it's an alien invasion, though. I think people, what they're doing is taking advantage of the AI and whatnot that they can utilize to potentially create some false videos. Of course, I'm not there. I'm not an expert video studier, but there's a lot of fake AI stuff going on out there, and it's not cool. So anyway, folks, I'm out of here. Have yourself a good day. Stay safe out there. The latest larger quake, 5.7 in the Philippines. Stay safe. We'll see you guys back out here a little bit later on for the Tuesday night update. Stay safe.